Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday over on this channel. Okay, so again, you get two for breakfast again. And again, depends on what I'm talking about, where I'm going to put it. But so I'm kind of being selective here. Like the title said today on this one, ballots versus bullets. And I want to kind of give you a couple of things. Now, some of this stuff you already know. We all saw yesterday in the news, it came out, about 10:30, 11 o'clock yesterday morning, that Andrew Cuomo's resigning from the governorship of Tennessee, Jesus Christ, the governorship of New York. God, if Tennessee had Cuomo as a governor. In 2 weeks. So, good. The last thing we need is another, sexual predator, I guess, if you will, in government office. Not that we haven't had enough of them lately, okay? But, there's a couple other things that goes on, but what's disturbing me a little bit is I watch other channels, I read other articles, and I think you all know by no means am I a pacifist, okay? But there seems to be a lot of talk about the hell with it, the time for being nice. I'm not saying we're being nice, but the time for being nice is over. It's time to go to war. And I'm going to wholeheartedly disagree with that, okay? Because, yes, there was a funny story that came out yesterday that Nancy Pelosi said that after this term, she's going to step down from the speakership. And I'm like, no shit, Nancy, because you're going to lose your ass in the 2022 election. So, you're not going to be there anyway. And if anybody thinks Hakeem Jeffries is going to be the next Speaker of the House, you are seriously smoking some good crack. Okay. But back to the ballots versus bullets. This is not what we want. Yes, I will completely agree with everybody that the U.S. election system is completely broken, all right? You saw the whole story with what's going on with Texas, with the 50 whatever it is, Democratic lawmakers fleeing to Washington, and the governor signing an arrest warrant, and then you had some liberal judge saying you can't arrest them, and then of course yesterday afternoon the Texas Supreme Court overturned that and said, yep, they come back, they're getting arrested and hauled right back to the halls of the Texas Congress. Okay, this is the thing, when I hear people say, we need to just take it to war. Who the hell are you going to fight? Okay? It's not like everybody's going to don red and blue T-shirts and start going up and down this is up and down the street. This isn't, it's not going to be like the Revolutionary War where you've got a whole bunch of guys, with red coats marching in line down, Main Street. That's not how it's going to work. And people don't understand what that would take, okay? And I've said it a little bit on the other video today too that I talked about. How are you going to distinguish who is friend and who is foe? Okay? You can't do it by skin color. You can't do it by state. It's not all of a sudden going to be Tennessee versus North Carolina. There's a ton of, North Carolina supposedly went blue, okay? God knows there are a bunch of Republicans in North Carolina. Tennessee, solid red state. But if I drive 45 minutes down into Knoxville, there's a ton of blue people. Okay, so you don't know. Sorry for the sizzle. Mrs. P's cooking dinner. But you're not. How are you going to know? What are you going to do when I love when these people say, we need to be ready for war. Against who? Your neighbor? Hatfields and McCoys? I mean, is that what, I mean, think of Hatfields and McCoys. We all know that story, okay? This isn't two families in West Virginia over a river, okay? This is an entire country. How are you going to do it? There's so many people who talk a big game, and like I've said a million times plus one, don't think past the tip of here, okay? How are you going to define it? The election system's broken. Combat is not the way this is going to be resolved, okay? Believe me, I wish I had an answer for how to resolve this, okay? And I've said many times, I really think that Balkanization is going to be the only way to do it. It's like, effective January 1st, this is the conservative states of America. These are the communist states of America. If you live here, you're going to abide by these laws. If you live there, you're going to abide by those laws, and people are going to have to move. Okay, that's the only way I see it happening, because other than that, you're going to have minor skirmishes all over the place, and there's going to be no centrally organized groups that are going to take care of. Sure, you may have a militia or something like that, but think about, I mean, the biggest mag that you could think about. How much territory can they actually control? A few square miles? Okay. Then you wind up having tribalism, as we talk about. These two tribes join, and this one joins, and this one joins, and this one joins. And okay, so now you have 5 mags that have joined. And what have you taken over? A small town? Maybe? Okay. I mean, that's about it. I mean, use this as an example. How many mags would it take to take over New York City, Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles? Pick a city, okay? It's not going to happen that way. And you cannot imagine being in a New York or a Chicago or something, wearing a red shirt, knowing that the blues are completely going to control everything. You're going to leave as fast as you can. And that's where I say you get Balkanization. Ballots are still the way to go. And, as many of you guys say over and over and over again, nobody ever voted their way out of communism. Okay? This is true. However, think about any revolution that's ever happened. I mean, you can't get a revolution in Cuba started, and Cuba's, half the size of Florida, okay? It's just not going to work. So, for all of those people that are begging and hoping that, the day's going to come where you're going to start picking off people from your front porch, all I'm asking you to do is stop and think for a second and go, who and how am I actually going to choose who's in the crosshairs? I know. Y'all are going to say elections don't work, elections are crooked, and I agree with you, okay? Not a problem there. I don't have ballots ain't working right anymore. Bullets aren't the solution. Somebody, somewhere, somehow, who's got a lot more brain power than I do, has got to come up with something in between. But I just wanted to put that out there. I wanted everybody to think about that one. Don't wish for something that you really don't want to see. Have a good Wednesday. Pinball out.